Welcome back to Roadsteading, where we are going to be showing you the quick install of a Wallace Nordic DT. Now this is a quick overview. First, you want to cut out an opening in your countertop to meet the specifications of the stove. After that, it's pretty straightforward. You just take the stove and it slides in. Watch your fingers on this last part because it will drop down and pinch them. Now that's in, but it's not completely installed yet. That's where you have to move down here to the lower cabinet. Down here in the lower cabinet, I've already ran the electrical. Very important, you want to run your electrical directly back to your batteries. You do not want to go to a fuse panel. The reason being is this stovetop has a cool down period. If it doesn't have power to cool down properly, you have a chance for major damage. So you want to go back to the batteries and have an inline fuse on your power line, because if you go to a fuse panel and then you overload the fuse panel and say you blow the main breaker or the main fuse, excuse me, then this could just lose power and shut down. So back to the battery with the electrical. We've already ran the exhaust tubing, which connects right up to here, and there's a clamp on there that you would have to tighten down right there. Of course, it's in the wrong spot, but you get that in the proper spot. Look at that. It slips right on, and then you tighten that down here around this bolt. And I make a little hole, and I just kind of loop it around that. You also have a bracket here. This bracket simply bolts to the side of the Wallace. There's one for each side, and it bolts to the bracket, and with these long screws here, it simply tensions to the bottom of the counter. Extremely simple. And of course, the fuel line. Now we ran the fuel lines. These fuel lines are pretty easy to run. We ran them with the electrical wires, and they tie in right here to the dosing pump. I'll take the exhaust off so you can see it. There's a little dosing pump here. You just want to make sure that this is very tight and it's a nice clean connection. And you want to make sure, again, that you run your fuel line where it's not touching the burner or getting anywhere where it can melt. So we're going to run it this way, and we'll have a tie back over here.
This is the control for the Nordic DT. This can either be surface mounted, or you can take it out of the housing and it can be recessed mounted. It's a very simple connection, which goes right here underneath the stovetop. We will be figuring out where to mount this and how it will be mounted, either recessed or surfaced, once we finish the cabinet work. And one other thing we will keep in mind is that this is also the thermostat for the heater function. So we don't want it in a place where it's going to get too hot from residual heat from the stovetop or the oven when we figure out how to mount this.
It's pretty easy to install once you're at this point. Hope this has been helpful. Until next time, remember to seek, learn, experience, and grow.